Creating complex UI is much faster and easier with QML than using the native tools. It's important to remember that Qt is open source, so it also has a large community. So many problems that you encounter when creating the mobile app can be found on the Qt forum. There are a lot of libraries that simplifies coding native-like functionalities, such as locations, accessing sensors, cameras.
Hi and welcome to the another episode of CuteTalk program. We are talking here about software development topics, in particular about C++, Qt framework software development for embedded systems, and about cross-platform software development. My name is Lukas Kosiński. I am the CEO at SciStudio, QtQML consulting company. We help our customers achieve their objectives by providing them with skilled Qt developers. Today with me is Michał Woźniak. Michał is one of our team leaders and Qt developers at SciStudio. Actually, Michał was one of our guests already. We talked together about creating custom QML components, what are the best practices, etc. And Michał has actually quite a lot of experience in Qt for mobiles, and that's why we decided to talk today about Qt for Android, about the insights of development for this platform. Michał, that's great to have you here again.
Hello again.
That's the first episode that we are recording remotely. I hope you don't stress out. Michał, maybe tell me to warm up you a bit. What was your last commit about?
So my last commit was adding the in-app subscriptions preview to the applications that we have released for the Android and the iOS. With that, the user is able to preview subscriptions he already bought and buy new ones that he has not purchased already.
Mm-hmm. And did you require a native coding actually?
Yes, because currently the Qt does not support the subscriptions for the purchasing, and that's the only type of purchases we have. So we need to implement it natively on both platforms. So we need to check natively for the available items in the store, the prices, and the status for each users.
Okay, and think about the users. How many users does this application have? That's one. I believe that that's one of the apps that we develop for one of our clients.
Yes, so this is the app that we take care of for almost 2 years, I think, right now. When I last checked, it was 67,000 users on Android, just on the Android. I guess there will be a similar number on iOS, but I have not checked that recently.
You mean active users?
This is the install base, so the number of devices that have the app installed.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so that's cool numbers. That would be nice to know. How many of them are on iOS?
I think
Yeah,
it's also pretty cool because when we started, there were only about 100 installed apps, so that's a pretty nice grow up.
definitely. So maybe going straight to the topic. Why do we meet today to talk about using Qt for Android? Maybe let's start with answering to the question how mobile development for Android differs from using Qt for that and compared to using Java or Kotlin, like native regular technologies.
Okay, with Qt, we are usually using the features that Qt provides us with. That's a very good base to prepare almost every app. At the first glance, Java and Kotlin gives us more flexibility in accessing some phone functionalities, uh, but that's not really the the problem because we can do everything in Qt, just integrating the Java code in Qt application. The concepts are slightly different because nowadays on Android, we usually develop the app using activities and fragments. The fragments are common right now. And in Qt, we do not use something like fragments, but we can consider QML items as fragments. So that's the fragment of the UI that we manage the UI with. We can even instantiate more activities, but usually we don't need more. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's most of it.
And while coding using Qt for Android, is it like you code a regular Qt application and just at some point you have to uh, make some adjustments to make it mobile?
Um, Usually we don't need to, because when we're doing a regular QML application that does not require any, I would say, Linux or Windows, Mac OS functionalities, then we can easily deploy it on Android as well. So the same code base, different platforms.
Okay, so it's just to also better formulate the answer for that question, how development using Java and Kotlin differs from using Qt for Android. The thing is that you actually code a Qt application just like you would do with any other application developed using Qt for the other platform. So that means that you can use QML for front end and C++ for logic, right?
Yes, and if you want, you can really go with the Qt widgets as well. But yeah, that's the old way.
Yeah, and I think that almost nobody does that anyway anymore. And what are actual difficulties of using Qt for Android? Because, well, after all, it's a cross-platform technology, and probably in many cases, using just native technology would be a better choice. So there have to be some disadvantages, difficulties of using Qt for Android.
Yeah,
Let's hear them out.
I found it a bit difficult to make the app scalable well on many devices, as the Android devices are very different. There are hundreds of thousands of different phones, different screens, different ratios. Uh, yeah,
Producers.
producers, and even some makes have their own UIs on the phones that can cause some issues, as we already had some problems with that. So I think the scalability might be challenging. Also, making the app look like the native Android app. Thinking of material design right now, it's not that straightforward, but Qt has some support for that, and maybe some integrations with the native code is not that easy on the start, but when you go deeper, it's a really good integration, and it's not that hard after all. So you can bring all the functionalities to your application, and debugging might be challenging as well, especially debugging Java code with just a Qt creator. Sometimes you need to go deeper and take the profiler from the Android Studio.
And maybe what about the benefits of using Qt for Android? Mm, what the developer actually gets from using Qt for Android and not native applications, native technologies.
Okay. In my opinion, creating complex UI is much faster and easier with QML than using the native tools. It also brings us the higher performance on most of the devices, and it's important to remember that Qt is open source, so it also has a large community. So many problems that you encounter when creating the mobile app can be found on the Qt forum or some other Stack Overflow, for example, sites like. There are a lot of libraries that simplifies coding native-like functionalities, such as locations, accessing sensors, cameras, and if you were looking for um, some code to integrate the not common functionalities such as purchasing that I mentioned on the beginning, you can also find some examples on the internet.
Mm, yeah, I would not agree that a community around Qt is something that would be uh, making a difference here, especially compared to the community of Android developers. Um I would say that the number one benefit of using Qt for Android is when you are a Qt developer and you don't want or you don't have time or possibilities to learn another technology, and you can just take the skills and the knowledge that you have and you can just develop an application on your own. And um, I don't know if you're a business owner or project owner, you can just use the same people to develop an application for another target. I mean, the cross-platform nature of Qt, that would be my number one benefit from uh, using Qt for that.
You're right. That's very important. I didn't think of that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
you,
this
you
very
took
good
it as
benefit.
something obvious.
Yeah, that's something obvious for Qt developers.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe you already mentioned the topic of integrating Qt apps with the native code. Maybe let's just go deeper and explain to us how it's actually done.
So to integrate the Java code within the Qt application, we use something called JNI, which is Java Native Interface. So it
Mm-hmm.
allows us to call Java code from C++ side and vice versa. So we can call the C++ code from Java. It gives us a lot of flexibility. We can make some I don't know time-consuming calls within C++ to speed it up a bit. Uh, it brings us a way to integrate some native features easily, such as probably notifications. Um, so we need to do the config anyway in the Java side in the Qt activity. We need to bring the notification manager, notification channels, notification service. That's everything that can be done in the Java. And then we can call some creating notification function just from the C++ side when user interacts with the app. So that's pretty straightforward this way. We need to define the Java method and the C++. We call it via the string. We need to define the function name in the JNI to call it. So yeah, and then we can expose it to QML using some wrappers.
I know how to do that, but just for our viewers, our listeners, I have to ask. So it's like you have Java code in a separate files, right?
Yes.
And you make all the classes there.
Yeah, and we can even split to the many different files just to have the same file structures as in the native Java application.
Uh-huh. And then you call using that GNI in C++ by just calling some functions and
Yeah,
providing that strings.
yeah, and we need to specify the file path in the package manner. So it's usually com dot company dot app name and then the function name. And we can also provide some arguments, which is not so descriptive.
You mean like to call some functions with the
Yeah, we
parameters?
can pass strings, and Qt has a nice support for that to convert the Q strings to the J strings, which are the Java strings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, I personally do that. I mean, doing some native code only when I encounter something that I literally cannot do using just C++ and Qt capabilities. For example, the last thing that the last native thing that I implemented this way was playing with the uh, top status bar and the navigation bar in the application with their visibility, with their color. That is also something that uh, I could do only using Java code. And maybe to continue the topic, um, is it like when you code using Qt for Android, do you use Android Studio or can you actually do everything using Qt Creator?
Um, there are not many cases when I need to use Android Studio. Sometimes it is useful, but usually the Qt Creator is enough to start the Android development. And the whole ecosystem is nice here. So you can do everything just via the Qt Creator. You can easily set up the SDK because it has the built-in SDK manager, AVD manager, so you can create the virtual devices as well. You can even set up the Qt Creator for Android development without downloading the Android Studio, which is also awesome because everyone knows the Android Studio is pretty huge. It consumes a lot of space. And there is also a built-in support for editing Android files, such as Android manifest. So it gives us the GUI to do so. So it's much easier to just click through it and without writing any XML uh, lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can actually release the app on the phone from the Qt Creator,
Yeah, racing
and yeah,
is
things
pretty
like that.
good here. We also have a built-in support for signing the applications, preparing
Yeah,
the bundles that are now required for the Play Store to be uploaded instead of the
yeah,
APKs.
and then you just take this bundle and you upload this on Google Play Store, and then you uh, do not need to even open Android Studio once to have a Qt application for Android. Yeah, on released on Google Play Store. So maybe as I already mentioned the topic of Google Play Store, maybe just share with us some um, insights, some opinions on releasing Qt applications on Google Play Store. Does it differ anyhow from doing that for native applications, or actually not? What's your opinion on this matter?
So when we have the app built, we have a prepared bundle assigned, and then it's just like deploying the regular native application. We just upload the bundle to the Play Store, and I suggest to do it in the internal testing at first, just for additional testing to make sure we don't break the production. Uh, Maybe I will say that that's very common knowledge, but do not release on Friday. It is usually not a good idea. Better wait for Monday. And um, also, just make sure that your app meets the requirements, because when adding features like in-app purchases, it is important to check if you're not violating the purchasing terms and to meet the Google Play requirements.
Yeah, those are definitely fair points. Um, I was actually supposed to do that earlier, but let me do that now. Dear viewers, dear listeners, don't forget to subscribe, like our video, or do whatever you can on the platform that you're actually using to listen to us. That helps us spread our message and share the good knowledge and our opinions on Qt and on the other similar topics with the community. So please do so. That helps us a lot. And yeah, it's time for the final question. I think that I have to you, Michał. Do you have any, let's say, other unorganized tips for people who want to develop their Qt application for Android platform?
Any additional tips? That is a tough question. Um, it can take a lot. I think it's worth to go deeper into Qt layout system because it helps with the scaling. That's something I would totally recommend. It's also nice to check the latest Qt 6 release. It has a lot of good markers that you can start with. It speeds and simplifies the mobile app creation, and especially it helps on other platforms such as iOS because it was not that common in the Qt 5.
Yeah, and if you think about that last Qt 6.5 release, I think that it even adds support for coding using Qt for Android, but not using C++, but Python. So I didn't check this out, but that's also something that sounds cool.
I haven't checked that either, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah, definitely something to check at some point. So, yeah, Michał, thanks a lot for being in the next episode of the CuteTalk. That was my pleasure to have you here. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, listeners, again. And I hope that we see each other in one of the next episodes. We publish episodes of Cute Talk bi-weekly, so just make sure that you check our LinkedIn, our YouTube channel every Thursday. Yeah, and yeah, we see each other in the next one.